Yesterday, after the market closed, there were numerous bullish events happening for nuclear and uranium stocks. And if you guys are subscribed, you guys would have got this info for free. It's in the community tab. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. In our last video, we almost got to 1,000 likes. So thank you guys so much. And we're going to jump into this bullish news. But before that, go ahead and hit the like below. Give me your like number. And I want to know, do you guys like these? Do you guys like these daily updates, or is it too much? The community tab that I'm posting all this news, once I break it in the Discord, I'm going to put it out to you guys because you guys are my loyal subscribers on YouTube. And it's free. You guys can subscribe below. So do you guys like that, or should I cut back on this? Let me know some of the big news that after the market closed. So Hungary licensed 2 nuclear reactors, 2.4 gigawatts at the PAX nuclear plant. So they've got these licenses now. NEA said that the existing Russian built 2 gigawatt plant that they already have at PAX can be expanded with 2 more reactors pending further license. And guys, this energy renaissance, this is what I was telling you guys about. This is the 1970s all over again. And you guys saw the market yesterday, what the overall market looked like. We'll go into that. And because this is happening, we've got Slovakia's Mochev 3 permitted to start up. And this plant actually, this is really cool because they're actually way ahead of schedule. And it says in this article that they are likely to start their fuel loading very soon for this plant. So, I mean, you're getting news after news daily. And we got Bloomberg too after the market closed. So we're getting a lot of publicity in nuclear energy. Obviously, uranium stocks, that's who fuels these nuclear reactors, right? That's the real bread and butter, the foundation. So global energy crisis spurs a revival of nuclear power in Asia. Everything we've been saying. Nations are embracing nuclear as Russia invasion of Ukraine sends gas and coal prices shooting to record highs, accelerating a shift towards cleaner and more reliable energy. Now, it's really crazy because a lot of these countries, some of these countries looking at nuclear, I mean, we were really stagnant forever, right? After that 1970s boom, you guys can see how many reactors there were. And you guys, I've showed you this data before. This is the area that we're likely in. There are 300 small modular reactors likely coming up. We've got multiple reactors throughout the world, and I'll show you in the chart here. Now, if we go down here, this is the one I really want to show you guys. This is not really even including small modular reactors, okay? There's hundreds and hundreds up that are likely going to come in the future. But China, look at how many China's got. Look how many planned versus that. The blue is the planned, obviously. And this right here is the under construction. 21 and then 52 overall planned. Now we've got India, Turkey, South Korea, and not every country is even listed on here. Egypt's on here, as you guys saw. We're talking about countries that have never had nuclear energy, are this nuclear energy revival for a lot of these, but it's a renaissance for a lot of, some of these as well. So this, we're going to see this, I think, weekly, new countries announcing this. Now, you guys remember, we talked about it a few videos back, Japanese fuel fabrication plant to restart. Mitsubishi, I bet you a lot of people didn't know that they made nuclear fuel. So this is really bullish. This really signals something, that we haven't ever really seen. There were never a restart with Japan's nuclear fuel industry like that, those plants. So they're looking to really push that hard. This article was really interesting because Malaysia is actually looking possibly to nuclear energy. They have a carbon target goal. Now they are actually going to invest a bunch, billions of dollars in other forms of energy, but it is very possible that they are looking to switch, just as India has done, really push a nuclear energy renaissance. And, we're going to see countries all around the world, I think, switch to this very soon. It's going to be an increased demand that no one thought of. And that's why I think prolonged $200 uranium prices can happen. Business Standard, if you guys don't have Bloomberg, you guys can check out this article. Business Standard, and this is rising prices of natural gas, coal, spur revival of nuclear power in Asia. So this article is very similar. They use a lot of data from Bloomberg. So if you guys want to see that, you can pause the video here. This is the article, and I'm going through it for you. Now, we pretty much covered all of this, but I want to help you guys out. I know a lot of you guys, on these videos, I cover everything pretty much that breaks all energy with nuclear energy. US admits it cannot replace Russian uranium supply. So Dr. Huff in an interview, you guys love her. She's so great. she was basically saying that, obviously we can't replace that enrichment. A lot of these contracts, we can't replace it instantly, right? But this, I think, will open up the $4.3 billion that the Biden administration wants for enrichment. And if you're new to the channel, that's something that's massive. We've got the Department of Energy, obviously, that can still replenish the nuclear ships, the reactors there. We have enough just for pretty much the government, but the industry in the US, we don't have, where it needs to be. So that 4.3 billion will be great to really expand the domestic uranium supply overall. The Biden administration wanted that $4.3 billion. So it is very possible we do see that.
Dr. Huff, in 2019, American uranium production fell to its lowest level since 1949. Now, unfortunately, that means that Russia and Russian allied countries provide around 46% of our uranium. Despite that alarming statistic, the Biden administration recently failed to include uranium on its list of critical minerals. This worries me. Is this, you think this level of reliance on nefarious sources could pose a serious strategic risk to the United States?
Thank you, Senator. Yes.
And you think the U.S. would be better served, strategically speaking, by adding uranium to the list of critical minerals?
Thank you, Senator. I do definitely agree that uranium is an incredibly important material, and the list of critical minerals has, as you noted, been changed to not include fuel minerals, and so therefore uranium is not included. In the Department of Energy, we have the authority to consider a lot of supply chain issues, and that includes critical materials, which is a distinct category from critical minerals, and the Secretary has some authority to consider materials, particularly fuel materials, that are important regardless of their categorization. And I would say that is where we are, and there is no question in my mind that we will continue to focus on uranium as an incredibly important fuel, much like we do with all of the other fuels. And yeah, Senator, thank you for this.
Oh, thank you. Now, what additional steps do you think we ought to be taking in order to secure a domestic fuel cycle for uranium?
Thank you for this concern. I think, there are a number of clear forward-moving steps. The first is that, as we look toward replacing the vacuum that Russia will leave in exiting the market for our uranium, both for the existing fleet and the potential future fleet, it'll be very important that we have a source of raw uranium that is mined and milled from a stable nation, either here domestically or elsewhere, perhaps our allies in Canada or elsewhere. Second, a conversion facility expansion. Right now, we have one conversion facility in the United States, and it's restarting. This is in Metropolis, Illinois, at the ConverDyn facility. If one wanted to expand our conversion capacity, it will have to be more than that, and it currently is only restarting because of this uranium economics situation that you described earlier. It could potentially be incentivized, it and other entities could be incentivized to restart our conversion capability rapidly, as long as there's a signal from the federal government and from the industry. And then enrichment capability is the final piece. And we have a demo in Piketon, Ohio, but with that and the HALO availability program, it won't get us to the space that we need on its own. We need an aggressive, forward-moving appropriation targeted toward a plan for availability of both low-enriched uranium and high-assay low-enriched uranium in order to support our existing and our future fleets.
Currently, there are only two sources of high-assay low-enriched uranium: Russia and the Department of Energy. Unless the department acts swiftly, our advanced reactors will be dependent on Russia. Senator Cantwell is here. We're dealing with one reactor in Washington State, the other in Wyoming. This is important to both of us. We just can't become dependent on Russia for that next stage of nuclear energy development. Do you know if the department is willing to produce high-assay low-enriched uranium and make it available to our advanced reactors? And if so, what steps are you taking to ensure that both TerraPower and X-Energy in Washington State have the fuel that we need?
Thank you, Senator. It will be a challenge. Establishing a commercial supply of HALEU in the U.S. is really critical for these two reactors, as well as the reactors that will follow on their heels. In order for those two demonstrations to be a true success, they will need to commercialize more broadly. And I'm so grateful for your two states for being really in the lead of this vision that we have for these reactors. In FY 2023, the department proposes to make available small quantities of high-assay, low-enriched uranium through limited DOE inventories. And we are already supporting the private sector in establishing an enrichment capability in Piketon, Ohio through their demo. In order to ensure robust U.S. commercial supply chain capabilities, it's going to involve enrichment capabilities to expand, as well as investigating the opportunities for DOE material, including recovery and downblending, potentially, of materials stored at Y-12 and Savannah River, and completing construction of that enrichment demonstration in Piketon.
So a few years ago, when Westinghouse entered into an agreement to fuel Ukraine's nuclear reactors, these are all Russian-built reactors now using American fuel. As we look to wean Europe and off Russian energy, are there additional opportunities for our U.S. companies to provide fuel for Russian-built reactors?
Thank you, Senator. And that relationship between Westinghouse and the Ukrainian reactor fleet is a really good example of the decades-long relationships that nuclear energy can create as we cooperate on an international scale. And those Westinghouse-fueled reactors in Ukraine are at incredible risk right now. It's a great concern, and it does provide an opportunity for our American companies to fuel those reactors, to support them with maintenance guidance, to contract with those companies and other nations to ensure their safe operations, and to bring those reactors sometimes up to Western safety standards. Our HALEU availability program, our requests will increase over time, but I think it will compete almost immediately with the broader existing reactor and need for uranium. And so they both rely on enrichment and conversion capacity. And because of this increase in the potential need for us to have additional domestic enriched uranium to support not only the future fleet, but also the existing fleet, we're working together with the interagency on a plan that can quantify some of this. We actually have some of the folks from the Office of Nuclear Energy who've been working on this topic just behind me, and I'd be happy to work with you on nailing down some of the details, but it will be in the many hundreds of millions and possibly over billion range, I would say, if we want to be very serious about standing up a competition that has historically been supplied by state-sponsored programs.
Well, appreciate that and understand it's hard to give a number to it, but I think a recognition that we need to be doing more, and to use your words, be aggressive on this is important.
Now, some more updates at the Z plant. So as of today, this is the 27th of August, the Z plant operates, but they are still saying it is at risk because of the fighting going on there. Now, guys, I'm going to report both sides. There's two different articles. Now, this is the Telegram official from the Z plant. And they said over the past day, the Russian military has repeatedly shelled the Z site. The damage is currently being investigated. Yesterday, after the shutdown, the two power units of the Z were reconnected to the grid. Now, this had nothing to do with the Z plant. It was a local plant near there, but they did shut down the plant for a little bit, but it is back up. There are currently no comments on the operation of equipment and security systems, they said, of that other plant. At the same time, due to the presence of the Russian military, their weapons, equipment, and explosives at the station, there are serious risks for safe operation of the Z plant. Now, you guys, we know this. I've showed you guys the videos as well of the staging of Russian equipment inside of these container facilities. They're very strong, very unlikely that a mortar round would hurt obviously the reactors. And as a result of this periodic shelling, the infrastructure of the station has been damaged. We know that. There are risk of a hydrogen leak and sputtering of radioactive substances, and the fire hazard is high. So they're saying this, and remember, guys, they're doing anything they can to get Russia out. And there is fighting going on. They've got these high precision, these drones that can attack, and they can hit a target very close they can hit this target right here without really damaging over here. So it is very high precision, a lot of what Ukraine is using. But what Ukraine is saying is Russia is firing mortar rounds that are very, that could really do some damage, but I still think the plant is still safe. Overall, the Ukraine staff of the station continue to work and make every effort to ensure nuclear and radiation safety, as well as eliminate the consequences of damage. Now, Rosatom employees are there too. What's really weird is there's obviously this war going on back and forth, but it's more of a collateral damage. I do not think that Ukraine is going to fire on, this is number 2 plant, and you can see this is concrete. These things could withstand a plane flying into them. Russians, they're firing away from here is what it is saying. This article, they're obviously saying that Russia has been repeatedly shelling the Z site. Now, I do wonder if it means that they're shelling from here, because I doubt this is not what's happening. Russia is not attacking this building, right? They're not attacking number 2, but it is a collateral damage issue. Now, Ukraine calls on the world, and this is really why I think Ukraine keeps pushing this, is Ukraine calls on the world community to take immediate measures to force Russia to release the Z plant and transfer the power plant to the controls of our state for the sake of the security of the whole world. So they're pushing this. Now, the 6 plants here, like I said, they were reconnected. The Z plant nuclear power plant has been reconnected to the grid after hostiles in the area led to the damage of the last remaining operational 750 kilowatt external power line connecting the plant to the national grid. Now, guys, they're doing this so they can connect power to Crimea. So the plant, I think they've got engineers there from Rosatom. They're the top engineers in the world for nuclear. They know what they're doing. They have had a crisis, and this is still on the back burners. This is why I still day and swing trade uranium stocks, because I want to be able to pull out as quickly as possible. And if I was a long-term investor and I had still multiple uranium stocks, 40 plus like I did in 2020, and I had them in 7 different brokers, it would be a lot harder to do that, especially if there was a massive crash. But I don't think that there's necessarily going to be that. I really don't. But it is still on the back burner. Now, you get reports, the same reports, this is out of Japan, bombardment at the Z plant announced by both Ukraine and Russia. On the 27th, the Ukraine's nuclear power, what I just showed you, announced that during the last few days, Russian military repeatedly shelled the site in the southeast of the country. In the announcement, the power plant building was damaged and there was a risk of hydrogen leak and spread of radioactive materials, but the details were not clarified as investigations are ongoing. In addition, while the IAEA aims to dispatch that team of experts to the near future, the Russian military pressures the employees of the nuclear power plant not to speak about criminal activities at the nuclear plant and the fact that it is used as a military facility. So in the past 24 hours, the Ukraine military fired 17 shells, is what they're saying, at the nuclear power plant, 4 of which hit the roof of the nuclear fuel storage facility. And this is a spokesperson for a Russian Defense Ministry. Now, obviously, I don't believe that's likely. This is probably a lie. And then on the 27th and so on, accusing Ukraine of attacking. On top of that, he said the radiation levels at the nuclear power plant is normal. So guys, of course, Russia is going to be saying this about Ukraine. More than likely, there were soldiers and vehicles outside, and they might have been hit by possibly precision. They're calling them shells, but I think they're not going to do that. Ukraine's smarter than that. I think they're going to be using those high precision drones. I showed you guys videos how precise those can be. And obviously Russia is kind of backed into the area. These plants are very safe and they're staging a lot of their equipment in there. Now guys, commodities kind of update because it's the weekend. They closed green, a lot of these, especially gas over in Europe. And look at how much they're up for the year. 609%, 429% for UK gas. We're even seeing heating oil almost back to double digits. And then Brent, we're still around $100. It's still up, a couple percent. We weren't able to get that volume in the uranium prices to go up over $50 just yet. But that refueling is starting in the US and the UK. We call it fall refueling, you guys, but obviously you guys are from all around the world. Our community is great. We've got people from all over. And by the way, guys, comment below. I want to know, where are you guys from? What city or what country? And give me your like number, because I'll read every single one of those, and it's really nice to see, and I'll try to remember you guys' names. Now, we're seeing, like I said, uranium, all of these, energy commodities are going to go up, I think, continue to go up with inflation. We've had some pullback, obviously, with some, gas in the United States in the last month, and crude oil is still down about 2%. But I think, Brent, 5%. I think in the next probably few months, we're going to see record prices all over again. Winter's coming, and we know what the prices do. And uranium, I think, is going to go up on that next leg. But you guys, I want to show you, this is the overall market on Friday. So uranium stocks were down, obviously. And when you get trillions of dollar companies, as I've always said, almost 5% Amazon.
This is a perfectly good car.
Which was down. Apple 3%, almost 4%. Tesla 2 to 3%. Google 5-6%. Then you're going to get a volatile uranium stock market, right? But chemical is only down 2%. So I think that although you did have a lot of selling, this was the NASDAQ's drop, okay, in the last few weeks. Now, you guys, I've been saying this for a while, and you guys can see in my tweet here, this was when this happened, that I said reasons people sold since 2009. There was reasons. I had listed visuals of everything, but I said the market always recovered. But what about Japan in December 1989? The truth is markets don't always go up. The debt to GDP ratio is looking very similar, I said. The Ides of March 2022, this is why I'm heavy cash. This probably will get 0 likes. And of course, look, the Ides of March happened. Now, I can't predict the market, but I can look to history and I can look to see that I thought that the NASDAQ had a very big possibility that that was the peak, that this was the peak. This was the parabolic peak, and it is very likely to go down. But you guys, remember in the 1970s, we saw uranium still when the market did this, and it continued to go down, and we had record inflation, record rate hikes. We had an energy crisis. Everything's almost the exact same. You guys have seen the tweet. We still saw uranium run from all-time lows to all-time highs that still beat the all-time highs now, $218+ in just a couple years. But we had the nuclear energy renaissance, and we're seeing the same thing happen. History really does love to rhyme. We can't predict the future, but we can say that, you know what, these uranium stocks, they're very, very similar. A lot of the big ones still on these charts, and I'll show you guys even after the close. Look at where we're at. Look at UEC and Chemical, very similar, right? Very similar charts. We're seeing Energy Fuels do the exact same. Now, Energy Fuels and UEC, a lot of you guys are asking, well, what stocks? I can't tell you guys what stocks to buy. And really what I've been covering, and since this really nuclear energy renaissance in the US especially restarted, what I'm really looking towards at really establishing longer term positions when I do, if I'm not day and swing trading these, is these US producers. And right now, 0 pounds pretty much is being produced. But if we can get in the next few years, 5 to 10 years, to 40 million pounds, which they really do want to get back to, that 1970s, 1980 level, then the market caps of these can grow to crazy values, especially with uranium being, $100, $200, which I think at prolonged can be that, especially with this inflationary environment, energy crisis, the world reactors coming up, and just reactors being announced, I think, because the market really is forward looking. Encore, Peninsula Energy, these are possibly buyout targets. So these are on my radar. And then you've got the really small ones, that have a lot of projects in America, Anfield. I mean, look at the size of this right now. I mean, the price of the stock went up, that's where all these 52-week highs were. And look where we're at now. I mean, right before, this is March 2020. This is where we're at. So I think a lot of these are still buyout candidates. But I'll probably do a video soon if you guys want. If you guys want these update videos, you guys got to hit the like and comment below and let me know, because I'll keep making these for you. Update video on which stocks in uranium I'm looking at. Obviously, UR Energy was another one. But these pullbacks, look at the volatility, guys. Look at the waves. I call these the waves. This is the waves crash, right? That's the crest of the wave crashing pretty much. But you can ride that wave up and down, up and down. And that's why I love to day and swing trade. I mean, look at this daily move, right? Just a couple days. Almost 450 down to 339, back up to almost $4. And it loves that 420 mark. So we are in this area, I think, that it's very likely for the breakout to happen. We've got fall refueling coming. We've got all of these catalysts in the US. If Biden administration announces a $4.3 billion, you guys saw what happened. This was when the Biden administration announced that $4.3 billion that they're wanting, and the stock went up to like almost 480, I think, during the day, intraday, like 480 intraday. It was almost, but the stock, that was pretty much the biggest run. It was almost 20%. And we recently had a massive run the other day, but Energy Fuels actually ran that day the most. I think it was almost 20% the other day. So that's the volatility we have in these. That's why that's why I day and swing trade these heavily. Is anytime I post anything now, I'm going to be posting it on the community tab on YouTube. So if you guys are subscribers here, you guys are going to get it right when I post it. So if I'm going to tweet it here, it's first going to go in the Discord, guys. I'm going to break it. The information's already there. You guys can, have access to that first. Remember, speed is everything in this market. Having that knowledge fast, it's going to put you above everyone. When people are coming into the uranium and nuclear energy industry looking to invest, you guys are going to have an upper hand. You guys are going to know what's going on. This stuff is not all this stuff is always publicly out there for the masses to see. They won't know where to look. Obviously, when Bloomberg is reporting on it, it's going to get big. And there's going to be a lot of investors looking to invest, funds as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Give me your like number below and comment. Do you want me to keep making these videos? And where are you guys from? Whatever you guys want to say, I'm going to probably do one of those Q&As again. So if you guys have any questions, write them below. I'll probably answer them in another video. And if you guys aren't subscribed, I'm probably not going to answer your question because I'm going to get hundreds of these likely. And guys, look at this. There's only 56% of you subscribed in the past month, okay? You guys watching all these videos, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. You guys are going to get info instantly when I post it. It's going to be in the communities tab. Same stuff I post all over you guys watching this video. You're going to have access to before I can even make a video. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And if you want it even sooner than that, there's going to be a link in the Discord below. You guys, thank you so much. It looks like it's going to be an exciting week next week.